Hi, people. This is Deborah. Let me read the disclaimer. All information provided on this channel is for educational purposes only, and this channel does not promote or misuse of the information. I receive downloads from my inner self. I do research. It is the only experience and interaction with others is what I receive. However, remember, your thoughts and opinions are equally important in shaping our togetherness. I will use words not intended to offend people, but to describe my point of view and how I see things. Take what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. Now, I have posted and comment here um, a young man. Hey, Genesis, how you doing? That calls himself Shiver. I am delighted to post his information on here because he's 20 years old, and I'm just amazed of the power, and you can actually feel the energy coming from him and the knowledge at age 20. How you doing, Genesis? So I decided to share. I watch a couple of videos that he put out there. He's on TikTok and Instagram. He does not do YouTube. So I posted TikTok information, and I posted um, Instagram information, and I also posted uh, the price of his ebook, which is $25. You will not be disappointed. I haven't purchased it, but I know what he puts in. He put his entire heart in that book. And if you go and watch him on Instagram or TikTok, you'll know why. It's just, I'm just amazed. There are people 40, 50, 60 years old that don't take on and absorb the energy that he is absorbing. It's just amazing to me. Oh, glad to see you as well. Glad to see you as well. Um, it's been raining a lot here in Atlanta. Just about every now, not just about every day. Every day has been raining. Uh, hey JT, how you doing? Happy Saturday to you. All is well. I just have to pay attention to my computer and make sure I plug it in when it gets halfway down, and I guess I'm good. You just never know with these old pre-put together computers these days, because they're not new. They just refurbish them and put them back out there in the stores and sell them to you like they're new. I had to put mine back to the manufacturer. Yeah, they don't. Anytime they come already pre installed, they are refurbished. But if you get one and you have to install it yourself, then 9 times out of 10 that's a new one. But I haven't seen I haven't seen that in the stores in a while. They come pre-installed. Genesis says computers went out a lot of places yesterday because of the Microsoft stuff. Oh yeah. I didn't really read about the Microsoft. What's going on with Microsoft? Cause hey Raquel, hey, how you doing? You barely made it. Did you have to work today? Yeah, I didn't read. I guess I need to go back and see what they talking about at Microsoft because I didn't. I didn't. I haven't had time to read anything about Microsoft. I've been kind of busy. I have been looking at the Virgo and looking at the widget, um, and trying to do as much research as that I possibly can for a widget. And some of the information that I found about widget was interesting, but I will probably do a video on that. You're in the parking lot going in the house now. Oh, you've been, oh, okay. Okay, some updates didn't do right. Oh, so JT says, I just been watching the shit show that's going on the political race, wondering when it's all over. Am no longer interested in anyone trying to govern my mental. Yeah, that's because that's what it is. Government is governing the mental. That's pretty much what it is, and we all trying to get out of that state. All that religion, all that stuff that our loved ones taught us. We're trying to release all that crap, and and so we all are going through a transition. You know, I think sometimes people think when you get on the video and you talk about specific things and you don't really share your uh, experience, because I share all minds, but sometimes they think you're not going through stuff. Oh, you go through some stuff. That's how you're able to talk about it because you go through it. Every human being going through some stuff, one way or the other. I was going to do a video on prayer. Let's see. I was going to do a video on prayer and versus prayer and pray. Um, and then I noticed that I hear people saying that I've been praying for the same thing for 50 years. Hi, Express Nana. Thanks for coming in. This is my first time seeing you. But they said that they've been praying for things for years and nothing has happened. A lot of times, I come to realize, and I had to go back and think about myself, really think about myself when I was really feeling the energy. And this been some years ago. And I remember I used to just speak things into existence as if it was already here. And that's why the energy was with me, because it was not, I didn't really pray as in asking, I pretty much spoke it. And I realized that's where we need to be in this time frame. We need to speak things as if it's already here. And we need to be grateful and thankful, because grateful and thankful put you in an humble state. That's the other thing that I realized too. I was in a very humble state. Um, you know, and I was thinking about my ex-husband too. Today it was just funny. He's from Trinidad, and I remember when we were going through our rough period. We was about to get a divorce. I remember he got up out the bed one day, and he said to me, and this was the morning of getting ready to go to work. He said to me, he said, "My dick don't get hard for you no more." And going back, looking at that and what he said, he was telling me pretty much he was governed by his penis. Now, I didn't know that then, but I know that now. But when he said that to me, it hurt me so bad because he started going in the bathroom, shutting the door. He would go in the bathroom and shut the door, and then I would have dreams about the woman that he was having sex with. Of course, I didn't tell nobody, but and it's funny because sometime before that, he uh, he worked at IBM just like I did, and the girl that he was seeing worked at IBM too. And so he called me and asked me to meet him for lunch because he wanted to show the girl what I looked like. So I met him for lunch and he introduced me to her. And I don't know what his intent was that particular moment, but I didn't give a damn. I really didn't care. It was like, when a guy brings a woman in your face that he's having sex with, he ain't no good anyway. But I was thinking about him and I realized that when you have that kind of uh, energy on you, you have to let go because I don't think he was ever in love with me at all. But I wasn't in love with him in the beginning, but at the end, I did fall in love with him. And to this day, I still love him. I'm not in love with him. I put it in perspective and I don't desire him. I didn't desire him for a long time, but anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. You just have to let people go. Uh, so I guess he's probably thinking about me rather than me thinking about him because I definitely wasn't thinking about him at all. So what's going on, people? What's going on with you? How's your day going? Oh, okay, no problem. So what we talking about today? What's our topic? The symbols. So far, so good. 8 now watching you. Okay. Okay, did you watch the video that they put out there? It's an 8-part video about the symbols that's out there on YouTube. Did you get a chance to watch that? Because I think her name is Mama Zabi or Zabi. Um, she tells you the story of the symbols. That's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say. When Mama Zabi or Zobi, she tells you the story of the Sibyls, and she tells you how they were oracles. Um, she says a lot. Oh, you need to get the book. The book should be cheaper now. I think it's like 3 or 4 books. I think it's three. I listed a book at the very top of the screen, people. If you stroll back up, um, there's a young man, 20 years old. He actually give you some knowledge. I've watched a couple of his videos on TikTok. He actually gives you some information on how to expand yourself, how to get higher than what you are. I think I haven't read this book, but in his video, he's very clear about what he has to say. And if you take the time, if you have a TikTok or Instagram page, if you go over and I put the information at the very top of this comment screen, if you would take the time and go and take a look at what he has to say, I'm pretty sure you'd be excited like I was when I first saw him. It's just a beautiful thing to see young people, um, into something that's going to exalt them. Because some of the older people are just set in their ways, and they're not hearing much of the knowledge that's being put out there. Okay, the Marquez says the movie called The Supercell is a reference to the Sibyls, the oracles of Mami Wata. Oh, okay. I think when Mama Zabi was talking about uh, the Sibyls, it some that I resonated with me and some didn't resonate with me. I guess I have to go back and take a look at it. Uh, because I know what's wrong, I know what's right, I know what's crooked, I know what's not crooked. And so when I view it in behavior and when I view it in movies and articles and books, I know that it was corrupt, because the true oracles were not corrupt at all. I know that they were straight for wrong and right. Uh, yeah, we have to pay attention. It's something happened where the women start compromising, just like today, the women are completely compromising because they're lonely and they want a man, so they compromise the truth. Uh, My son likes to watch the news and he likes to watch what's going on with Trump. That's garbage to me. I see it all staged. It's garbage. You know, uh, I have a theory about Trump. I'm just going to hold on to it, uh, because I know there's a difference between selection and election. There's a difference, and I know the difference. And we have to realize when you go into the electoral voting process, um, it's different from the locals. All the nominees, all their fraternity, sorority, that's what they sit under. And so the ones that are voting for them or selecting them are fraternity and sorority. Um, if you look at your local people in your town and look them up and see what college they attended, I assure you they are part of the fraternities uh, and sorority. Um, our mayor, the female mayor uh, that was here, I think she came back to Atlanta, um, but she was an advisor in the White House for a few months with the vice president, and so she's back here. Uh, okay, you take what resonate with you, and everybody else has a bit of knowledge of the puzzle. Yeah, it and it's true. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle. I talked about that some time ago where uh, the cultures have pieces. Uh, that's uh, when you go into the different cultures, you see that the same story, the savior, the male savior is the same in just about all the culture, but under a different name. JT says the fact that this happened with Nixon in history seems to be repeating itself makes me sad. Well, it may make you sad, but uh, history repeats itself, period. It just goes in a cycle. He who don't know history is doomed to repeat it. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Now that's for sure. I talk about that all the time. That history is what it is. You know, we just go in a cycle. Like I talk about that with the young people because they come with fashion. And I told them we did that. We did the platform shoes. We did the mismatch hippie clothing. We did the afros and we did all that stuff. And that the only thing that's new with them is we were very uh, conscious of personal hygiene. It has gotten better with them uh, because at one point it was just something else. But personal hygiene has gotten better with the younger folks now. A couple of years ago, but history repeats itself. Everything goes through a cycle, but then it comes back, and you're gonna see the familiar. The familiar. What was before is now. And so, but looking at Trump is the only guy that I ever seen that was selected as a president that stayed in the public's eye. Uh, and he's counted as being foolish. He's the only one that that was Watergate, a couple other things. And you hear about Obama every now and then, but most of the presidents, they disappear. You don't hear about them no more. Thank you guys for being here. Um, I said, and I really do appreciate you, Raquel, for being the moderator. Um, we won't tolerate disrespect. Just automatically block them. Um, we don't need that in here. Um, uh, you know, this is a platform for us to talk about very many different things, but disrespect is not one of them. I was going to say a little something. The young person, I guess last week, asked me, "Do I believe in Earth being hell?" I'm going to do a video on it because I notice sometimes I don't finish what I need to finish saying because sometimes I forget that I'm talking to people that is taking stuff in. And so I didn't do that because I said to that person, yes, this I do believe that this is hell, but I didn't finish saying why I feel this is hell. So I'm going to do a video and I'm going to put it in the video. It's just too much to be able to talk about it right now. So I'm going to put it in the video, and hopefully I can get that in maybe tomorrow. Uh, the other thing, the it just bothers me that I heard people say that I was listening to one video and the girl said the women wrote the Bible. They didn't write the Bible, but they wrote the scriptures. And when the patriarchal got a hold of the scriptures, they rewrote the scriptures and they created the Bible. That's what they did. And so to say that the women wrote the scriptures when the scriptures are full of they're full of lies, they're full of metaphors, um, and some things you're able to straight out know it as the truth because that's what's going on right today. JT says the evidence is all around us that we're clearly not in heaven. Well, I'm just going to say this right here. Heaven and hell is pretty much is like a metaphor. That's what heaven is, and hell is uh, okay. So I just wanted to put a little bit in there. The heaven is the head. When God, when they put in there, God says He's gonna come down and whatever. Well, that's up here. The coming down thing is up here in the head. The hell is the root chakra. It's the lower, your lower. It's basically heaven and hell is your lower and higher self. It's a metaphor. You know, that's what it is. So let me just give you a little bit of what I'm going to put in the video. Uh, when you got most of the people down here in the earth thinking in the lower self, what are you going to get? You're going to get hell. You're going to get negativity, and that's what's going on. So what I should have said last week but I didn't. But I'm correcting it now because hell is a state of mind, lower self, lower thinking. So we got all the people that is thinking uh, negatively. That creates the hell state. That creates the negative behavior in the earth, because that's what's going on. That's what hell is. Uh, when you let's see this book right here. I hope you guys can see it. Let's see. Anyway, the book is The Women Encyclopedias of the Myth and Secret by some person named Walker. Okay, the book is a joke. Okay, but in the book, it has somebody they call the goddess that. Okay, and they said that's why they create the word hell. But also in this book, it talks about that when the men were trying to conquer the women, they fabricated a place called hell to scare the women into uh, subjection. That's what that book says. Now, I don't know what the heck they did to the women back in the days, but terror definitely was a part of it. Um, I don't believe that there was a goddess named Hell. I think they made it up. This book, I've read quite a few things in the book. I don't think a woman put that book together. I think the patriarchal put that book together. As a matter of fact, the way the patriarchals write, you can see them in many books. They'll tell you that the book was written by Jody Blody, and then when you start reading the book, it is patriarchal. And you know it's them. That's like much of your information is put out there on the internet. A lot of that is put out there by the Moors, and a lot of that is put out there by the patriarchals. When I talk about patriarchals, I'm talking about the Moors too, because they're all in one unit. All they do is put information out there to lead you astray, to lead you further and further away from your inside. That's their whole objective. They are the gate blockers, I call it. Instead of saying gatekeepers, they are the gate blockers. They block you from entering into your gate. That's what they do. All of them. So he's in the patriarchal system of scaring women into some submission. That's what this book says, Raquel. That's what the book says. Yes, abusing, burning, torturing, and suffering, causing suffering. And a lot of people don't want to hear this history, but I'm a firm the way I am. You have to get to the beginning, the root of the problem, in order for it to be fixed. And the root of the problem is always starts at the beginning of the process. And I'm just a firm person to know that, because you can't be at the end of something and thinking that you're going to resolve the root of the problem. You got to know what the root of the problem is in order to become a better person. You know, we don't want to fight back the men for what they did. We just want women to wake up and no longer be submissive to these patriarchal males, no longer give energy to these patriarchal males, but do themselves just. Do themselves just, because it's through the women that the earth is going to get back to its heaven state. It's not going to get to its heaven state if the women don't uh, get back in their proper place. If the women are continue to be submissive to the patriarchals, look at the state of this earth. is chaotic, and the males have done that. The patriarchal males have done that. There's no reason whatsoever for hungry. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for homelessness. There's no reason for none of that. The women that's in their proper place are natural nourisher. And then their natural nourisher, no one would lack anything. And that's the state that the woman has to get back into. She has to get back in her natural place so she can teach the young females what place they supposed to be in. And it's sad when a 20-year-old son, young man, and I'm encouraging you to go take a look at it. 20-year-old son that knows more than a 50, 60, 70-year-old. The metaphor in the Bible was about when you come into your 50th self. Now you're walking in your power. Who do you know walking in their power at 50 years old? People are still struggling mentally all across the cultures. They're struggling because they're not in their higher self. Why? Because work, material possession have kept people busy to the point that they did not have time for themselves, just like they don't have time for themselves now. Why you think these young people ain't trying to work on nobody's job? Because they recognize and they ain't trying to have it. People call them rebellious. This is the generation that is rebellious. They're rebellious toward a system that is corrupt. And that came from the patriarchals. Not only did it come from the patriarchals, it came from the women that have removed themselves from their rightful place. Women are not in their rightful place. What put them out of their rightful place? Fear. Women have to stop having fear of if I speak what I really feel toward the males, then I'm not going to have a man. I'm not going to have a husband. Forget that. Because there are some men out there. I'm talking about men. There's a difference between a man and a male. A man is one that has wisdom. A male does not. He's still learning or don't want to learn. And it's the same thing with the female. A female is one that's still trying to learn. The woman, she is with wisdom. But right now, there's only a few of them out there. Because what's for you is for you as a woman. Don't worry about no male. He's supposed to come to you anyway. Anytime you are a woman and you go chasing the male, 9 times out of 10, he ain't gonna want you anyway. I've never chased a male. I don't chase males. Some of them try to talk to me and some of them don't. I guess it depends on what kind of energy I'm projecting that day. Because some days I go out there and my energy be like, I don't feel like being bothered, but I got to go to the store. So I don't feel like being bothered kind of an energy. I get there just like you guys do. It ain't always the same. My energy is not always the same. You know, and we have to get back in our proper place. The men have to, those men that are out there have to start taking up for the women. When a female is not that is disrespecting herself, it is that male, that man's job to correct her too. And it's his job to correct the males. For bump, it ain't your business what I do. I get tired of hearing that. Well, I don't hear it with someone telling me that, but I hear it with somebody telling other people that. You know, you have to tell the truth about things. I'm not trying to be a person that just give you a bunch of shit. I'm telling you for the way it is with me. You know, telling you for the way it is with me. I'm not going to sit up there and tell you stuff just to make you feel good. That's just not who I am. I try to tell people things that I've seen with others and that I do myself, you know, and I think it's important. It don't matter if somebody call you dumb and stupid. People always got something to say. But the whole thing that we want to do, we want to strive that the earth is no longer our Lord. The earth is an allegory for the lower self. You want to be Lord over the earth. That's what you want to be. You want to have power over your lower self. You don't want your lower self determine what you should be, because it's the lower self that tells you you need to dress for a male. It is your lower self that tells you that you are and need to be submissive to a male. It is the male's lower self that tells him that he got to have sex with this woman 3 and 4 times because that's what she likes. It's the same thing about, hey BLH, how you doing? It's the lower self uh, that tells the man that he got to look good for a lower female. We don't. It's all that is earthbound. That ain't important. It ain't. It's not important. That's why it's really funny. That's why if people stop looking at the physical and start getting into the energy, then you won't be so visual no more. Because none of us should be walking around here letting our flesh, which is the lower self, control us. Your flesh controls you. Your flesh says, go eat some damn skins because that's what I want. But then your spiritual self tells you, them damn skins ain't no good for your body. It's your lower self, your flesh self, that tells you, go out there and get some chicken. Because that ain't chicken what you're eating. But your lower self says, go get you some chicken. And your spiritual self, higher self, tells you, don't get that damn chicken. But you go get it anyway. And you make excuses. Your lower self says, shit, I work Monday through Friday. It's time for me to get my drink on. It's time for me to get my sex on. And I'm going to go and get me some hoes tonight. That's what your lower self tells you. And your higher says, you're depleting yourself. Because the more you have sex, the more you're depleting yourself. The more you go and drink, the more you causing harm to yourself. And the more females you mess with, the more spirits you're taking on for yourself. So the lower self is ruling. And that's what's going on with the earth today. The lower self is ruling. That's why I call this hell. This is hell. Because nobody pretty much is in their higher self, their powerful self. Nobody. And for as long as we walk in our lower self, the more this earth is going to stay in the condition that it's in. You know, getting to your higher self requires work. It requires discipline. What kind of discipline does it require? I can't have sex no more because I don't have sex with 15 different women, 15 different men. And so what I need to do now, I need to clean myself up. The lower self, the hell self, says, no, just keep on fucking. And the more you do it, the worse you become. And this ain't got nothing to do with age, period. It has something to do with you elevating. You cannot elevate and staying in a lower state. And to get out of that lower state, you have to put some work in. It requires work. Hi, Kiran, how you doing? He says, evil males ain't having their way anymore. And I got beef with evil patriarchs anyway. So hi, Deborah, how you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm glad. As I can always depend on Kron, you know, taking up for truth, because that's what it's about. It's about truth. You know, nothing is easy. You know, you want a good man, you got to work for it. You want a good woman, you got to work for it, which only requires you to put yourself in a proper way of thinking and stay that way, commit to it. You know, that's what you have to do. You know, I found out that when I went to the doctor, I found out that they said I had a hole in my heart. And I take medication for it. I wasn't going to take it. I wasn't going to take it at all. But what made me take it was the fact that I breathe hard. When I come up the 4th flight of stairs, I'm breathing hard. I feel like I'm gagging for breath. So that's the only reason why I started taking that medicine. But I said this to say this. Why do Deborah have a hole in her heart? She did not take care of her body. I was a smoker. I started at 15 years old. I smoked all the way up to age 57. Okay. I started drinking in 1996, and I stopped drinking. I wasn't drinking every day, but in 2000, I think it was 2003 up until 2006, I started getting to the point I became a real wino. I was drinking a bottle of wine a day. Why? Because I was trying to bury my thoughts. I had things going on that I didn't want to deal with. I was trying to bury the shit. And it just, what happened was I needed me, my brother called me, and I had paid his rent twice. And I knew he was on drugs. And he called me and he said he got put out. I didn't have no money to pay his next rent for him. So that bothered me. I picked up the telephone and called other relatives. Nobody helped. So I got a bottle of wine. I went to the store. I was already messed up. So I got under the wheel to get me some more wine, and I hit somebody. When I hit somebody, that's what made me stop drinking. Because now I don't took my shit to a different level. Now I'm hurting somebody. So as a result, I wasn't trying to hurt nobody but myself. Okay. Then I looked around and realized you hurt your daughter, you hurt your son because you're drinking that shit around them. And when you get drunk, they have to put up with your shit. Because before that, I hit that person outside. I was taking them for granted. Or they'll be all right. No, they're not all right. When you drink and drug, you are affecting everybody. But I left it alone. So my point is, did I get the hole in my heart from the drinking? Did I get the hole in my heart from smoking cigarettes? Probably both of them. But so my point is, the reason why I'm sharing these stories, because there are young people that come in on my channel and I talk about it because so they can know, don't take that shit for granted. Because it starts out when you're young. You tell yourself young, oh, it'll be all right. I'm going to be fine. I got time. No, you don't have time. You don't have time. You know. So anyway, the hole in my heart is still there. And they take you through a really messy series of testing. And I'm telling you, it's messy too. But then I thought about it, I said, something out there is great and looking over me because I'm 67 years old. And who really cares about an older person? They be trying to take care of the young people. But then I had to stop and think about, you know what? You better be grateful and thankful, Deborah. And that's what I am. I'm grateful and thankful. So Raquel says, don't time will rush upon you. Yeah, it does. It does. But I wanted to share that with you to let you know all that stuff wasn't important to me. You have to take care of your body, which means you got to make a commitment and not let your body destroy your body, because your body is the lower part of yourself. It's the animal part of you. Your lower way of thinking is your animal way of thinking, and it craves for shit. Just like that animal. Y'all may think I'm joking, but we were made from animals. When Adam was over there naming the animals, that was the shit that was going through the woman's belly in her stomach. The 3 months of the animal stage. That's what that was. The 3 months of the animal stage. That's why the woman be so damn sick the first 3 months of her pregnancy. Sick as a dog. And then that's when that baby started coming in. Yeah, but it says that your body is the temple of God. Who is the God? You're the God. So if the body is the temple of God, you have to take care of your temple. Because in your mind, you think that you only have one thing going on in your head. You know, and I know there's two voices in your damn head. You think it's the same voice, but it's something that your damn body is talking to you, and your soul, your higher self is talking to you. But most people listen to their lower self because the lower self makes it easy for you to do some shit. Because the higher self will make you uh, commit to yourself, to do the right thing to yourself, and that's a hard task. Where the lower self will make that shit easy for you. Oh, it's all right. You don't have to worry about that right now. Just, girl, go on and eat that cake. You know that cake ain't gonna do you no harm. But a lot of people got diabetes because of eating all that damn sugar, that messed up sugar. And you ask them what's going on with them with diabetes. They on that damn machine. Kidney all messed up. We got to take ownership of stuff and stop trying to make things so easy for ourselves and stop choosing things that are so easy. People want money, but they don't want to work for the money. You have to work at everything that you want that's good. It's not easy. You don't get good things easy. Sometimes you have to go through the negative things to appreciate the good things. I know so many people that are so ungrateful. When they had the good shit, they didn't know what to do with it. And then when they had a good wife, they mistreated them. When they had a good husband, they mistreated them. And all they get now is shit. And they lonely. And they don't have nobody. When you're young, it might be fun to have sex with different people. But I assure you, when you become an old person, you ain't going to keep wanting to go out there and have sex with different men, different women. You get tired of that shit. Ain't no emotions there. You got to start making some decisions, concrete decisions that is going to be helpful to you, your mind, your body, and your soul. You have to. I go down the steps. Sometimes I got 4 flights of stairs that I have to go up and down. And I go down for the morning, and my daughter may call me and say, Mama, come on, ride with me. Now, I know when I go and ride with her, going back down them steps, my ass going to swell up. But I go anyway. Why? Because I want to spend time with my daughter. I'm just not disciplinary pretty good in that area right now. Because my daughter and I used to go out every day, but she don't live as close to me anymore. So if I went out that morning, I'm definitely gonna go out that evening. She shows up. I ain't in no pretty good shape. I wish I was. I wish I was. I was talking to people don't realize the word 3, 6, and 9. Wait a minute. 3, 6, 9, 12, and 13 are our numbers down here. So the month does not start at day 1. That's not how it goes. It goes 21st to 21st each month. 2, plus 1 equals 3. People have changed that. The numbers that operate in this earth is 3, 6, 9, 12, and 13. You're going to see all kinds of numbers. You may see them say 24 and to the is March. They'll say that's the first month. Where the 21st to the 24th is not, no, I'm sorry. 21st of March to the 24th of April is the first month. That's not true. It's going to always be the 21st to the 21st each month. That would be the complete month. And then you're here, in some religion, you're here that February is a leap. It's 28 days. It's because they say that the moon is 28 days. That's a lie. When I was counting the moon slivers in the moon, it was 30. It was always 30. It was never 28. Just like what is amazing to me, when I was young, I used to always stargaze, always looking at the sky, always, always. And when I was little, very rarely I saw the moon. But there was millions of stars up there. I mean, millions. And then the next day, the sun would come out. But the problem is, they talk about this star Venus being the brightest star in the sky. When I was little, the brightest star in the sky, that people didn't know that the sun is a star. The brightest star in the sky was the sun. The brightest star in the sky now is still the sun. Where's Venus? Because there is no Venus. If there is a Venus, it would be the sun that we get every day. That would be the Venus. Because Venus is the brightest star in the sky. And you and I know that the brightest star in the sky is the sun. You know that. We know that. What is so funny to me is that people heard some people say, well, yeah, Venus is the brightest star, and they just took that information and then they took it to somebody else. Somebody took it to somebody else, and somebody took it. And I said, well, if Venus is the brightest star in the sky, why do I need to use a microscope to see it? I should be able to see that with the naked eye, right? Well, I never saw Venus, according to what they said. I never saw Venus, flashing bright star. The only thing that I've seen that was bright was the sun out here. So that would be Venus for me, because that's the brightest star in the sky. When you go out there in Atlanta, you're not going to see nothing else up there with the naked eye. There aren't any more stars up there. They're down here in the earth. Because in my heart, those stars up there are on the ground. They're all on the ground in human form. You see. And that's where I'm at with that today. I was doing a little research and looking for when you have uh zodiacs, like Virgo is, they have supposed to be Egyptians, God connected to them. So I'm Virgo, and Widget is connected to me. When I went and looked up Widget, Widget was came in the form of a serpent. Uh, and then her sister was Setback. Uh, is it Setback? And she came in the form of a vulture sometimes. But when you go and look at those so-called pictures that supposed to be hieroglyphs, that the Greek named it to hieroglyphs, I think it was called the metaneter. I think it was called the metaneter, uh, to hieroglyphs. You see two women on the side of a male, which is right in the middle. So the two sisters, one of them is Wedget, and the other one is it Netback, Setback? Hold up. There's so much stuff out there. Let's see here. But there's two sisters standing outside of the male in the middle, and the male in the middle is supposed to be Horus. Now, also, you'll see a symbol that a bird with some type of crown on his head, and it is said to be Horus. Um, and I'm getting the feeling that there were animals before we became humans, because I have a liking for the, thank you, Raquel, isn't that bad? I have a liking for eagles. And I had to go back, and I thought it was really funny. Her sister, that's right. I had a feeling that the caduceus that you see at the hospital, they made it look like two snakes coming up the. It's called Aaron's rod in the Bible, and it's called Moses' staff. And then it's the two serpents coming up the staff, and that's called the caduceus. They have it at the hospitals. All the hospitals, they have that. And what it looks like to me, the patriarchals have literally removed the females, excuse me, and made it feminine and masculine for themselves. They made the caduceus feminine and masculine. But and I'm doing a video on that, but when you go back and look at what they call the metaneta, you see the two females, and then you see the one is a uh, snake or a serpent, or they're in the same family to me. and then the other one is they call it the vulture, but I'm pretty sure it's the ego. They have lied about the parthenogenesis. All the birds, most all the animals, just about are females. We know the dog is not just female. We know the dog is female and male. We know that. The cat is female. It reproduces itself. All the birds are females. Uh, I had to laugh at, well, I don't generally laugh, but I had to laugh at this guy one time. He was teaching something on YouTube, and he was talking about the bird and the cackling of the bird. And he was saying, kept calling him he, and he cackled and he cackled and he cackled. And people was just taking it all in. And I'm saying to myself, damn well males don't cackle because they don't have eggs. You know that. But the people that was listening to him just thought that it was a male. There aren't any male birds. They all females. Okay? They all females. The spirit gave me that some time ago. The whale is a female. The seal is a female. What's that other big old fish? All those are females. They taught us in school that mammoth, because mammoth is a lot like us, tried to say that they wasn't, that they had male and female. They lied about that too. The lion, that's the other thing that she did, Wedget did. There are times that Wedget would be the lion. Remember they talk about the lion of Judah, and they made that a male. Well, the lion of Judah is female, okay? It's a female. And they made it the I think it's Leo. Is it Leo? It's either Leo or Aries. Which one? Now Aries is the lamb. So it has to be Leo. Yeah, Leo. Leo is the lion. Female. Raquel says, I have a book that I got over 15 years ago of Wajet and her sister Nebet. I got it for less than $1 at the library clearance sale. And there aren't any male trees. There aren't. Most of what you see in this earth is what they made up. They gave you males. I keep telling you guys, I keep telling y'all over and over and over. They created the alien stories, the Anunnakis, and all that came from Stitching, which came from Stitching was a Freemason, and Stitching was a patriarchal, and the Anunnaki story came from him. Okay, came from him, and the thing of it is, they don't want people to know that they are the degenerate female. And I'm going to keep on saying it. And I'm going to say it till I can't say it no more. Men are degenerate females. Period. Because common sense is, let's look at the male. The male got, and I have to talk about this part all the time. The male has 7 openings at the top of the face. There's 7 openings, and then the male have only 2 down there at the bottom. He has the penis and he has the anal. That's 9, right? Okay. The woman has 7 up here. She has 2 in her breast. That makes 9, right? Then she has 3 openings. She has a vagina, she has a clitoris, and she has an ana. So you got the 2 breasts, that's 5. And then you have the 3 areas down there in the lower part of you, that's 3. So when you add them, that's 5 and 7 together, what do you get? You see? And so those are real. So the creatress is not going to take somebody that has more body parts out of somebody that has less body parts. That's not going to happen. I mean, use your common sense. If anything, the creator took the one that had a lot of body parts and took one out of the one that had a lot of body parts that had less body parts. And that would be the male. Now, the reason why I keep bringing that up is because I want the males to realize there's nothing wrong with what took place in creation. Ain't nobody gonna look down on you less because you came from the female. You are a degenerate female. That's who you are. And I was talking to this guy, and I liked the things that he was saying to me. And so I asked him, I said, where you get that book from? No, I asked him, I said, what are you reading from? I asked him, I said, what are you reading from? And then he turned around and he asked me my address. And next thing I know, he sent me all these books that he was reading from. And then he turned around and said he expecting a donation. But at the same time, he also told me that woman came from the rib. The woman came from the rib of the man. And that's why I stopped talking to him. And I was trying to figure out a way to send those books back to him, but it would have cost me money that I didn't have, so I couldn't do that. And I had said when I do get some money, I'm going to send him the money that he spent on these books. I didn't ask him in the beginning to pay for these books or to send books to me. I just merely asked him what was he reading from, what was he reading from, and then but then he turned around after, I guess he realized he don't spent too much money. I don't know what he did. And he felt like he should get tithing from me. And I told him, I said, tithing has nothing to do with money at all. And I realized we weren't gonna work together because, and then he was talking about he's going to heaven and he's gonna be with his wife. Your wife is gone. You ain't gonna be with nobody. Even your Bible tell you that when the dead dies, they're dead. I don't know what Bible people be reading out of. The physical body dies. The soul goes back to where it came from. Okay? And that's how that works. You ain't gonna be. And then the other thing that the New Testament tells us that angels don't marry. You know what marry is? Marry means have sex. Okay? In the Bible. Marry means have sex. Guess what? That's not true. Because I know that succubus and incubus is sex demons. Why? Because one of them had sex with me. That's how I know about it. The stuff that I tell you about when it comes to them entities, I know about those things. That's why I know there's no such thing as aliens. They're demons. Now, how they became that way, I'm not quite clear on that right now. So hopefully soon I get the knowledge of that. But they are entities. And they don't want people to know that they exist. So they let people tell you that demons don't exist. But that's a lie. The word demon is another name for spirit. So they do exist. Daemon is a spirit, you know. And then at some point they may be called, like the word anu, that means womb. And then ki, ooh, ki means spirit, or kai or k. It means spirit. And then ba means soul. And when you look at the soul, what could be the soul? And don't take my word for it. The soul is made up of protons and neutrons. And what is neutrons? It is the spirit of the mother and the daughter. Now, where does male come from? But I do know that something happened down here. When the stars came down to this earth, something happened. Something degenerate happened in this place with the stars. Because we were in our higher self in the invisible, and we fell from the invisible to the physical. The earth is our lower state. This is our lower state. Period. You know, I was trying to figure out, why did this particular guy die? Because one of them said he was so high up he fucked Collie, the mother Collie. I went back, and it's funny. A wheel came by on my Facebook page, and the guy said he was talking about Collie, the goddess Collie, and he called her a bitch. I said, okay, that's why you gone. When you don't understand or believe that these entities, these spirit, these mothers exist, you better be careful, because I got a feeling that these different names, because are energies. Like Wedget, when you look at some of the information, you can tell me what you have in your book, Raquel. Wedget goes back to Isis, because Wedget did a few things. And they say that Wedget was the creator goddess, one that created humans. And if I want to, I could think that, because all the zodiacs have animal attached to them. Virgo don't. Virgo has the woman attached to it. Okay? I'm still searching. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting on downloads. I'm still doing that. You know, when it's the truth, the great mother will reveal it to me. Because I personally constantly tell her, I don't want to be feeding people more garbage. We had enough of that shit. We've had enough of the garbage. You know, trying to keep us. This earth needs to. And then, you know, what's so pathetic to me is this sperm thing. It's nasty. You know, if you're with the right person, it's not as nasty. If that person is spiritual and you're spiritual, then and that's your mate, not your soul mate, because you don't have a soul mate. What your soul mate is inside of you. So you don't have no soulmate outside of you, but your mate, then it could be probably a nice pleasure, you know. But everything is made sex. Even the word God means, every time you speak the word God, it gives energy to sex. They didn't know nothing about the word God back in the days. They didn't call the creators God. You see, when you go looking for words, you'll see that. You see that. You see them two words. Yeah, you see I said. But I'm talking about when you go, you know. You see that. You don't see no God. And the only God that if you want to call somebody God, is the one that stomach you inside of. That's the first person you see when you open up it, when you come out that belly, is that woman. You know. But it just amazes me the twisting and tearing and twisting and tearing that these patriarchals have done. The shit that they have done. We're not going for that no more, because we want peace, we want joy, we want happiness, we want what's rightfully belong to us in this earth. And I'm talking about all the cultures. We're tired of the patriarchals. You know, when I look at y'all boy, I see how stupid he making himself. He really making himself look stupid. And the saddest thing about it, there are people out there that sit up there and say they're going to vote for him. Why? Because he signed the paper for you to get that little money. Give me a break. That didn't come from him. That came from Congress. You know, it's just amazing to me the lies that people take on. Lie after lie after lie after lie. And they don't stray away from the lies either. You know, when I talk about this word Zion, do you know that's the same thing? And people think that's a person's name. There was no man named John. That's the spelling of that word. John is ION. That's what John is. We just have to pay attention to words. We have to really pay attention to words. There's a guy that's out there. I guess he used to be a part of the Muslims, and he did a video, and he was. I thought he was kind of off a little bit, but he talked about how uh, God is a woman. And then he turned around and did another video about pussy. And then he talked about how he loved himself some pussy. And I just looked at him, and And it's funny because there are some men that has to be back into that vagina, not really knowing how sacred it is. There was a time when the womb itself was worship. It was worship. That's why the patriarchals turned around and built phalluses all over the place. And guess what people are worshiping? The phallus. They're worshiping the phallus. Who worshiping the phallus? The females worshiping the phallus. The homosexuals are worshiping the phallus. The transgenders. The only one that's not worshiping the phallus is the lesbian, because she don't want nothing to do with a male at all. She the only one that don't, you know, that don't worship, And then what got me is when they said that the women were lesbians. That's bullshit. First of all, there was a period when the only thing that was used was thought. So you think they were gonna think some dick in, or think some vagina in? That sex wasn't utilized like that. It wasn't utilized like that. That was a thing of purity. Women. I do know that there was a period when women used to uh, have sex with the men to give them energy, because that woman carried a certain type of energy in her vagina, in her womb, and she transferred it over to the male. That's not what's going on today. What's going on today is low energy, low energy, low energy. That's what's being transferred today. Oh yeah, that black cube over there. I guess when your boy went over there to Mecca, he decided whatever he saw over there, he came back and he was done with the Muslims. Because whatever took place, whatever they taught him over there when he went to Mecca, he came back with a different attitude. Because prior to becoming a Muslim, he was a lot of people don't know he was gay, and he was also a thug, and a lot of people didn't know, but yet they worship him. Yeah, they worship him. You see, and so, but when he came back from Mecca, he went on a different trip. He was done. Yeah, he's gay. Type in if I find it, Raquel, I'll put it under this video. If I find it, I'll put it on. There's a guy there. He has a channel straight for homosexuals, and he gives you all the people that you think wasn't a homosexual. He put him in his on his channel. I went over there because I'm curious about many things, and I went over there, and people that you think wasn't gay, he added them to his collection, and Malcolm X was one of them. Red Fox, Malcolm X and Red Fox, all of them were friends and shit. Yeah. See, and this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about too. I think it's not right and fair that people continue talking about these dead ass people, because what they had to say was for that period. You got people in this period today got something to say that is very beneficial to everybody, and they won't let go of them dead ass people to hear what the people have to say today. That's why I talk so much about the 20-year-old young man. People try to put, oh, because he young, he don't know nothing, he can't learn. Let me tell you something. The stuff that I've heard come out some of the young people's mouth is something else. And I mean, when I say something else, some powerful shit compared to what I've heard come out some of these older people's mouths. And he's one of them. You have to let go of them dead ass people. Them people dead. Martin Luther King dead. He shouldn't even be talked about no more. Malcolm X dead. He shouldn't even be talked about no more. The only reason why I brought John Hanson up because they were trying to hide some shit. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought his ass up. You know. But there's other people in this earth that you need to take a look at and listen to, because they got something to say. We're in that time period where people got something to say. Because I feel like we're feeding older deities as if they are energy. They are. You're giving your energy to deadness. That's the problem. The story. This is. I laugh at this particular story. Now they in the Bible it says Jesus was on the cross, right? And it says that I'm sorry, when Jesus rose from the when he was on the cross, that's right. When he was on the cross, the dead in Christ said the dead in Christ rose from the dead. Now use your damn common sense. How in the heck is some dead and stinky corpse is gonna come up out of the ground? Okay? That's not what it was talking about. It's the metaphor. Those that was in the knowledge are the ones that was awakened. It's a metaphor. Only those that were awakened was the ones that were supposed to be awoken. And that's what that dead in Christ was. They thought that it said that they rose from the dead and they went away and you didn't see them again. But that's some bullshit. All those are stories. And when you got people down here that are able to see straight through everything, they're not going to go back to sleep. And then the ones that are still asleep, there's nothing you can do for them, because it has to be an awakening for them as well. And the only ones that you can talk to are the ones that's already awakened. Because the ones that still asleep, they're not going to hear what you're saying. They gonna tell you some shit like, yeah, but I gotta focus on what's going on right here in the earth. I can't focus on what's going on outside of the earth. I have to focus on what a person that is awakened is not gonna tell you that. They're not gonna tell you that at all. It's almost like they're saying, oh, just put the rocks on us. I don't want to hear that. That's just too much for me. And that's what a lot of people are doing now. Because the majority that's still sleeping, they are the majority. They still sleeping. They still in them churches. When that situation occurred with coronavirus, they were actually not able to go to the churches then. That was their time to wake the fuck up and not go back to them churches. When we were allowed to go out and I went to the store, I heard a woman say, oh, I got to go take care of my pastor. What the fuck? I couldn't believe she said that. I couldn't, I just, I got to go take care of my pastor. Your pastor is telling you stories upon stories. He's not telling you the truth. Jesus was never a real person. Jesus' story was an illustrator of who you are. All that book is a story about who you are. The story is talking about who you are and who you're supposed to be when you wake your ass up. That's what the book is. So Raquel says, I said, I also feel like that about always feeding our ancestors to a certain extent. There is no ancestors. They dead. What's parading around as your ancestor is them things I told you about, those invisible entities. They're your ancestors. So they will parade their asses around like they're your ancestors. Who teaches that shit is them Africans. They teach that shit. The same way America teaches you about a male savior, them African teach you about the ancestors that are gone. The ancestors only exist in your DNA. In other words, your ancestor have stuff in your DNA that you may wake up to because it was in your mother, it was in your grandmother, it was in your grandfather. That's that. But them people are gone. From the time they gave up the body, that was it. They made their spirit may have been around for a few days, but they gone. Your relatives are not there. Yeah, they say archons, and they could be archons, but I really don't know what their names are. I know they're not Anunnakis, they're not aliens. I know that they're invisible. You got those that they like to play games. They love to play games with you. They play real games. There's a pamphlet out there that I pulled some years ago. It talks about the God game. I don't know if it might be a book called The God Game. Might be a book out there. I just pulled the pamphlet out years ago, and it pretty much was saying that, yeah, imposting spirits. And so that's what and that's what you got. That's why I say this shit requires work. It's not easy to, you don't want to keep going through hardship to know the difference and how to use your discernment. It's best that you open your eye and see that shit for what it is. Because they're spirits that are pretending. They're pretending spirits is what they are. They're pretending that they're your relatives. I've heard people just straight out cuss me out because they are saying those are my relatives. And my relatives, they've been on my channel. Those aren't your relatives. Now, if they just passed, I do feel that now the Jesus person hung around in the Bible for 40 days. That's how long. And then he got gone. Now, based off that metaphor, I do feel that when people pass, they hang around for 40 days in this earth, and after that, they're gone. Okay, I think I got it. Something I used to think about when I was younger. Okay, what was it? I'm ready. What was it? Because that's important. That's why ain't nothing happening for people, because they're calling on ancestors that don't hear them. So they got these spirits that listen to them that may do something, may not do something. And the reason why you find yourself begging for something is because those are them spirits playing. Oh, you agreeing with me about the ancestors? Yeah, they're not. They gone. Their Bible tells them that. I don't know what they be reading, but their Bible tells them that the spirit goes back to where it came from, and the dead, the person that dies with the body goes in the ground, and that's it. Now, what I do feel is this: people that are cremated, people that are cremated, they get to whatever the destiny is quicker. Now that might be the difference between the hanging around for 40 days versus not hanging around for 40 days if you're cremated. I don't know how that worked, but that's the first time it's coming out of my mouth. So, you know, you just you, you just have to pay attention to things. You have to pay attention because that's just so, you know, I ask people, what's the difference between possession and God being inside you, speaking through you? What's the difference? What's the difference between possessed and you and God speaking through you? What's the difference? Would you call it another word, or would you call it possess? Or possession means to take control. Does not the God in you speaks through your mouth sometimes, and then you go back and listen to what the God in you spoke through your mouth said, and you be like, damn, it's the same thing. The same damn thing. The word possess may sound scary, but it's the same thing. Your Bible tells you that the God is in you. So if God is in you, which would be your higher self, the God in you, it sometimes talks through you, and you're hearing that shit out your mouth, and you be like, yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, wow. So the person, when God speaks, I have been around people that I said something privately, and I went around the person, a particular person, and then that person gave me the answer. And I said to them, did you hear what you just said? They didn't even hear what they said, but I heard what they said. Oh, you have a lot to say. I told your butt to come into, we can talk in email. You don't have to type. We can see each other face to face. You know. Okay. But yeah, so that's what happens. So if you can't believe that about yourself, because you do have the creators inside of you, and the creators speak through you. And sometimes you're aware that the creator is speaking through you, and sometimes you're not. Okay? When you see those people walking around talking to themselves, and I'm not talking about the schizophrenia, because generally the schizophrenia is one that has more than the God talking and them talking. Is several other beings talking to them at that point. So that's the schizophrenia. But the bipolar, bi means two. Okay, that's what bi means. Bipolar means two. Okay, so if you're diagnosed as bipolar, because you are, all of us are, you know, they just make words seem so scary. You don't want to be afraid of yourself. I told you about your shadow self. Your shadow self is your lower self. That's that shadow that you see when you be walking your ass out and the sun reflect on it. That's your lower self. If you a person that static used to shock you, and you're not getting shocked anymore from static, that's electricity. That means you're becoming more magnetic, which means you're becoming more feminine, because electricity is masculine. They just don't twist every damn thing. I mean, they don't twist, these jokers don't twist it, everything. There's a picture out there in stone where you see Netbat and Wajat in the reptilian form. But you go around calling Albion's reptilian. Y'all, you know what? I'm ashamed of y'all. I am. I'm ashamed of y'all. The Abdullah Magada is the reptilian brain. That's what that is back there. I'm ashamed of you. No, you got to start speaking what it is. What comes first is magnetic. The electric is after the female and then the male. See, they got so terrible to the point where they start making people speak male in sentences first. No, we don't. We're not doing that no more. We're gonna speak female and then male. That's how we have to speak it. We have to live it. We have to think it. We have to reverse everything that they put out there, because that's just not the way it is. Yes, that's what that is. Yeah, it's magnetic. Electric only exists down here. The males did not come from the stars. The males was created right here in the earth, and they know it. That's why they went to so much extreme to do what they done. And keep in mind, this is only toward patriarchals. If you're a patriarchal, I know you're gonna be pissed. If you're not a patriarchal, what you do is go find out for yourself. That's what non-patriarchals do. They go find out for themselves. Truth hurts. Truth always hurt. You think, even though I wasn't into sex, you think it didn't hurt me when my ex-husband got up the next morning and said to me that his dick don't get hard for me anymore? I had not a clue what that meant, and I don't know why he said that, because I wasn't into sex with him anyway. I wasn't into sex with no man. That's why he called me a lesbian, and few lesbians came around. But I'm the type of person, I'll hang with anybody. Because I wasn't having sex with him much, he thought I was a lesbian. I wasn't a lesbian. I had some shit going on with me regarding sex. I don't know, maybe something happened to me when I was a child that I don't know about, because I definitely didn't care for sex. And I don't care for it now. You know, they even say Father Nature, not Mother Nature. Yeah. Okay, let me see. You 50 something, Raquel. Let me see. Did you ever see the 50? If they still have it, look that up. And also Charleston. Uh, okay, I think they were trying to make it the Amazon women. When I was a teenager, I saw this movie. As a matter of fact, Charleston Heston was one of my favorite actor. Charleston Heston played in this movie, and in the movie, he was on this raft in the water, and the raft kind of went to an island that had nothing but women on it. So those women took him and nurtured him. But of course, they were Abion females. But my point is, they give you the damn shit in movies. Is what I'm trying to tell you. You remember the 50 Feet Woman movie when I was okay? Yeah, me too. Yep, that's when it came on when I was a young girl, and the Charleston Heston Island too was when I was a young girl. It was funny because I never ever. That was Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock he used to come on for 30 minutes, and there was a little girl in the classroom, and she could hear the thoughts of people. That's who we were. All that stuff that they put on TV, and they on demand brought that shit back. Because they put a lot of those metaphors in those little sitcoms, in those movies back in them days. So and they have it on demand, but I don't watch that crap no more. But yeah, Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, they had all the stuff that the women did and stuff right in those Alfred Hitchcock little 30 minutes stuff, and they showed movies. Marlon Brando played in movies that showed stuff about us, but they used the men instead. Oh yeah, they did it the same way the same way they use Abions, and they make them in on the internet. They put pictures in there with Abion females as the Titan females and stuff, like in the ancient days. The Abions wasn't in the ancient days. They were not there. But I see why they try to imitate, because that's what people do. The males imitate the original women, the brown women, and then the Abion females imitate the brown woman as well. And I see why they do it. So you have the men that imitate, the brown men that imitate. You have the Abion males that imitate, and you got the Abion females to imitate, because they wasn't there. You know that the whole thing that caused that war in that Bible, in the Bible, they had the war between. Let me see what chapters. Uh, Samuel and the book of Samuel and the book of Kings. That's when they came in. The kings were the ones that was going around causing havoc with the matriarchals. That's all that is. That's all that story. That's that story is what they did. You know, and so yeah, that's what they did. That was the story of they lied and said that they were the pharaohs, and then they tried to make one of the female or a lesbian. Um, I feel that Ankhenaten that they said was a male. I feel like that was a female too. The reason being because pharaohs gave the inheritance. Pharaohs gave the inheritance to the they were women that gave the inheritance to the females, the daughters. So when the males ruled, they took that privilege away from the women, and so they gave their inheritance to the male. They copied everything that we were doing, but they put themselves in the place of that. That's what they did. And I used to get mad when they did all that stuff. I used to get mad when the Albion females would put themselves in places that faces of the women, the Amazonian women, and they wasn't there. And I don't get mad no more. I hadn't got mad in years, but I used to get mad because I'm like, why y'all doing that? Y'all know y'all wasn't there. But they got told lies too. They got told lies just like, because, some of them wasn't told lies. Some of them were told the truth. But some of them were told lies too. So they really thought that they were a part of the Amazon women. And they really thought that they were the first people in the planet, and they wasn't. So I'm not really, well, I ain't mad with them no more, but I was for a minute because I couldn't stand people that pretend, pretenders, fakers. I didn't like that. But I had to realize they got duped too, many of them, you know, just like the brown women are so females are so messed up. They don't realize that they were that kind of women back in the day. They duped, and so will they revive themselves? I don't know. Some of them will, and some of them won't probably because they so deep down. I mean, I look at the strippers. Um, when you look at the strippers, there's the Hiram. They used to call the places Hirams. When the Moors had the Caucasian or the Avians, they had them uh, as whores. That's what they did to them. And so when I was a child growing up, those are the places that I saw. I saw a lot of peep shows. They were all Avian females, and but that's what the Moors did to them. They did all kinds of horrible. I heard that they did all kinds of horrible sexual things, acts to those people back in the day. And yes, they taught them some things, but yet at the same time they did some horrible things to them. And then the brown woman, they really did some horrible things to her. So all that killing that you saw in the book of Samuel and Kings, that was them going around causing taking over the land and resources of the matriarchals, because matriarchals were straight brown women. They were not avians. Um, you know, we got to tell the truth so we can heal from this shit, because it's not fair and right for people to take credit for something that belonged to you. You hear me? Now I do what I do. You like Saturday Lives? You funny, JT. I thought you was gone. Y'all don't got quiet on me, and I'm just rattling. And yeah, and y'all know that ain't the way I supposed to be. We all supposed to be talking. But yeah, it's gonna all come out hopefully, because every culture needs to heal. Every culture, because that patriarchal shit, it needs to go. It needs to go. It just does and did what it wanted to do. And it destroyed a family. It destroyed a family. Patriarchal destroys the family structure. If you notice, the Abraham is called patriarchal, which means clan, which means family. It's a derogatory word, and they did just that. They destroyed. They destroyed. In the name of the family, they destroyed. Is what they did. The patriarchals. And then you got some females that's so messed up till they help them. And today they're still helping them. And they think what they're doing is okay, and it's not okay. We have been getting storms every day for about 2 weeks now. Every day. And this is the first time I've seen Atlanta get this type of storm. And if they think the great mother don't exist, they better sit their ass down somewhere. Now, I have literally seen two guys. The other one, they say he's still living, but I believe he gone. But the other one, he definitely got gone because his wife got on YouTube and started talking about how great he was. It was nothing great about him. You straight disrespected females and women. There was nothing great about you. Nothing. But she thought he was great, and the people that listened to him and the people that he was teaching thought he was great. I can't do it. I can't stand beside a fellow and then he all of a sudden yell across the hall and say, bitch. Come here, bitch. No, that's not gonna do right for me. I'm gonna say something to him. And then he can say what he wants to say. Long he don't put his hand on me, I'm good. Because the minute he put his hand on me, he in trouble. Mm, mm. But anyway, I'm gonna get gone, folks. I've enjoyed hanging out with y'all. Y'all keep doing this to me. Y'all just keep on letting me do all the talking. Y'all need to come on in and say some things. All right. Raquel, you get some rest. Thanks, JT. You still there, Jesse? Or did you get gone? Well, all right, good people. Have a good night.